Today, we'll be doing marketing part 4. And in this video, we're going to study about the concept of price as an element of marketing mix and the factors determining the price, and also the concept of physical distribution. Now, what is price? Price is the amount that we pay for a product, and the consumer is very sensitive towards the price. How many times do you think have you left a product on the shelf itself after trying maybe a particular dress? Why? Because the price was more. So many times we leave the product because the price is much higher than what we are willing to pay for it. Therefore, before fixing the price of a product, the seller or the marketer has to keep a number of things in mind. So price is the amount paid by a buyer. The amount of money that a buyer wants to pay for a particular product is called its price. This is the only revenue generating part of marketing mix. No product can be sold without a price tag. And generally, if the price of a product increases, the demand goes down. For example, luxury items like luxury cars, the price, it's very highly priced, therefore the demand is quite low. And price is very important. Fixing the right price is also very important for the seller to be able to generate revenue. Now, there are 6 factors affecting the price. So let's do them one by one. First is the product cost. The cost should be recovered. If the price does not cover the cost, then the seller cannot sell it in the long run. So this is one of the most important factors affecting the price. Now, cost has got 3 parts: fixed cost, variable cost, and semi-variable cost. So fixed cost is that cost that does not vary with the level of production. So whether you produce 10 units or 100 units, let's say you have to pay the rent of the building. Rent of the building has to be paid. Even if the workers are on strike and nothing is being made, you still have to pay the rent. So that cost, which remains fixed irrespective of the amount of the production, it is called fixed cost. Then the second type of cost is variable cost. Variable cost is that cost which varies in direct proportion to the amount produced. So if you produce 100 units, your raw material will be 100. If you produce 2,000 units, your raw material will be 2,000. So that cost which varies in direct proportion to the amount of production is called variable cost. There is yet another third type of cost called semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost, as the name suggests, varies with the amount of production, but not in the same proportion of production. For example, there's a salesman who is getting a salary of 15,000 per month. So that is fixed. He will every month get 15,000. Apart from that, he's also getting 5% commission on sales. So whatever he sells, he gets 5% on that. Suppose he makes a sales of 10,000, he'll get 5% of that. Suppose he makes sales of 20,000, he will get 5% on that. So the amount of commission will keep on varying. Therefore, fixed plus this variable will make it semi-variable cost. So the cost has got 3 components: fixed, variable, and semi-variable. And while fixing the price, the marketer keeps in mind that the cost should be recovered. Then comes the utility and demand. So we are willing to pay more if we get more utility. So while cost sets the lower limit, that minimum the cost should be recovered, the utility and the demand sets the upper limit of any product. So a consumer will buy a product only when they feel that they're getting utility out of it. For example, you will not pay to buy science books because you're commerce students. For commerce students, you are willing to buy extra books to study, but you will not be willing to pay for science books even if you're getting at a discount. So because you don't have any utility, the more the utility, the more will be the price. And the demand is said to be elastic. When with a little bit change in the price, the demand changes a lot. But in case of inelastic price, the demand of the product is inelastic, then even if the price increases, the consumer will still buy the product. And therefore, in case of inelastic demand, the seller is able to charge higher price because people will buy even if the price goes up. Then come to the extent of competition in the market. The more the competition, the lesser control you have over the price. So if there is less competition, the price of your product will go up. Suppose I tell you that think of a company making steel almirah. There's one name that comes to your mind immediately. I will not name it, but I know you have got the answer. So that company is charging 3 times more than the price of any other steel almirah. So when there's no competition nearby, then in that case, you can charge your own price. But if there's cutthroat competition, then the price cannot be dictated by you. For example, Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola, they are substitute of each other. Therefore, they have cutthroat competition, and therefore, none of them can change the price. The price of both the products are almost the same. So if there's a lot of competition in the market, your price will tend to be lower. But if you have a monopoly in the market, then your price can be more. Then comes government and legal regulations. Now, government has got this Essential Commodity Act in which the government has the right to fix the price of certain commodities. Now, the poor sometimes they're not able to manage to get a number of products. So government has fixed the prices. Suppose somebody is hospitalized and they need medicines, life-saving drugs. And for the poor, it's very difficult. So the government has fixed the price for these drugs. They've fixed the price for, let us say, salt, calcium tablets, etc. So then if you are selling a product for, which the government has put under Essential Commodities Act, then you'll have to charge the price which the government fixes. Now, what people do is that suppose you are selling calcium tablets. Now, each one strip is to be sold for 20 rupees. So what people do is they add magnesium to it or with vitamin D to it, and they will sell that strip for rupees 80. Though the government has said sell it for rupees 20, that is only for calcium. So you're not selling only calcium, you're adding a number of other things also to it. And therefore the price that you are charging can be a little more. But you have to fix your price according to the government regulations. Then comes the pricing objective. Now, what is the price that you want to charge? That depends on the pricing objective. Now, suppose you are just obtaining market leadership, you've just entered the market, you're making a name for yourself, people are just getting to know your product. So if your product is going to be much higher price than that of the competitor, then who will buy your product? You have just entered the market and you're trying to establish your market leadership, so therefore your price will be lower. You will charge less price as that of the competitor so that you make a mark for yourself. The second pricing objective is surviving in a competitive market. Now you have made a name for yourself, and now you want to survive in the competitive market. Once you have started making a name for yourself, then your competitors will not allow you to survive. Why? Because you are competition to them. So again, you will keep your price low so that people keep buying your product and somehow you survive. Now, the third stage is when now you have established yourself and now you want to establish leadership. Now you want to say my products are of a very good quality, and because your products are of a very good quality, you can ask for a higher price. So if you are able to attain quality leadership, then you need to spend a lot of money on research and development, innovation, etc. Then in the third case only you can charge more price. So in the first two cases your price will be less, and in the third case it will be more. Then comes the marketing methods used. If you're using any unique method of marketing your product, which your competitors are not using as yet, then in that case, you have an edge over them and you can charge your own price. For example, pizza. Pizza was not from our country, it came from Italy, but it made a mark in our country. Why? Because they started offering free home delivery, and that too within 30 minutes. So you could just ring them up, place an order, and there the pizza was delivered all hot and piping. So as a result, that was a new method of selling the product, and therefore they could charge the price they wanted. So if you can think of any other method, like online shopping has come up in a big way nowadays, free or any other method, then you have the freedom to fix your own price. You could also use a unique method of packaging, etc. Now, these are the factors that affect the pricing. Now, apart from that, we've got physical distribution also, but this year only a mention of this physical distribution is there. We don't have to do it in detail. Now, what is physical distribution? Physical distribution is making the goods and services available to the consumer at the right time. So if I need woolens during the winter, then they should be there, available there in the market for me to be able to buy it. That is called physical distribution. Now, physical distribution has got two parts: physical movement of goods from the producers to the consumers. If tea is grown in Assam, then from Assam to where I'm staying, And channels of distribution means who are going to be the middlemen, because more the middlemen, more will be the profit margin and more will be the price. Now that brings us to the case study. Now again, in the case study, we will first see what's asked, and then from that viewpoint, we will look for the answer. Identify the concept of marketing mix and the 4 factors. So let us see which 4 factors are being talked about here. After acquiring the necessary knowledge and skills on starting an aloe vera farm, Ashok wanted to be the leading manufacturer of aloe vera products worldwide. He observed that the products were expensive as the demand of the product was more than the supply. He also was keen to promote the methods and practice that were economically viable, environmentally sound, and at the same time protecting the public health. Ashok's main consideration was about the amount of money paid by customers in consideration of the purchase of aloe vera products. He also thought that competitors' prices and the anticipated reactions must also be considered for this. After gathering and analyzing information and doing correct marketing planning, he came to know that the consumers compare the value of the product to the value of money they are required to pay. The consumers will be ready to buy a product when they perceive that the value of the product is at least equal to the value of money which they would pay. Since he was entering into a new market, he felt that he may not be able to cover all costs. He knew that in the long run, the business will not be able to survive unless all the costs are covered in addition to a minimum profit. He decided to add some unique features to the packaging and also decided to provide free home delivery of the products. Identify the concept of marketing mix and 4 factors related to it. So there may be more than 4 factors, but you have to identify 4 factors. So I'll give you more than a moment today because it's a long case study. This came in 2018. Okay, I'll highlight the points. So he thought about the competitors. You have to keep an eye on the competitor, what they're doing. Then the cost he's talking about, and the utility and demand of a product depends on the value that you can give. He's entering a new market, that is pricing strategy and unique features of packaging like home delivery. So these are the various factors that have been covered. So of course, the concept is pricing. So the answer is pricing, and the 4 factors are product cost, utility of the product, utility and demand of the product, extent of competition, and the pricing objectives. That's all in this video. Thank you.